and they're trying to make them be relevant to prophecy. Mm-hmm. These were issues, because if we don't have the right ingredients and we don't have the right stuff, then now we're creating something that really not is.
That's right.
Are y'all following me?
Yeah.
Now you're causing fear and you're causing panic in the hearts and in the minds of people that are not scholarly when it comes to certain prophecies and certain times.
That's right.
So this is important that we understand. And I was seeing a lot of stuff, you know, marquees and don't take this, don't take that. Absolutely, you don't let somebody stick something in your body. That erroneously place things out of context. All right. Now, in order to understand, once again, where the anti-Mashiach is coming from, we had to rule out certain countries and people. And that's what we're doing on Yom. And if we can get to it, we're going to go to the other part. I just want to up to speed so that you can understand what I'm saying. And I pray that everyone understands what I'm talking about. All right. Y'all sure? All right. Now, he must come from the Grecian Assyrian part of the Roman Empire. That is the eastern part. Remember that the territories of future empires superimpose the previous empires. So they may govern some regions of the previous empire and may not rule other regions of the previous empire. Since he is going south, he must be coming from the north parts in relation to Yasharal, exactly as specified in Ezekiel. Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
Very important that we understand. Let's look at Ezekiel chapter 38.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. And it is so.
All right. All right. Now we're going to read just down to 15. And it is so. All right. Let's begin.
Start from the first one.
Mm-hmm. Let's start with verse 1, and then we'll read to verse 15. So,
Ezekiel 38, verse 1.
Mhm.
How many verses?
let's read 5.
Yahuwah's words came to me, human one. Face Gog and the land concerning him and say, Yahuwah your power proclaims, I challenge you, Gog, chief of Prince Meshech of Tubal. I will turn you about, set hooks in your jaws, and lead you out. You and all your army, horses and riders, handsomely dressed, all of them, a great assembly with buckler and Persia, Cush, and put are all of them, excuse me, Persia, Cush, and put are you, and put are with you. This may be over here, excuse me. And put are with you, all of them equipped with shield and helmet. And
Okay,
it is so.
keep reading because there's a comma.
Verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Gomer and all his troops, Beth Togarmah from the far north and all his troops. Many peoples are with you, and it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
All right. Now, once again, we're looking at a description of the people. Who is he talking to? He's talking to Gog. He's talking to Magog, and he's talking against Gog of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So he's prophesying against this individual. Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
And these are all the people that are connected with this person. All right, let's read starting at verse 7.
Be ready, prepare yourself. After many days you shall be called up. In the latter years you shall come into the land of those brought back from the sword, and gathered from many people on the mountains of Yasharal, which had been on continual waste. But they were brought out of the Gentiles, and all of them shall dwell safely. Verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And you shall go up, coming like a storm, covering the land like a cloud, you and all your bands, and many peoples with you. Verse 10. Thus said the Master Yahuwah, and it shall be in that day that words arise in your heart, and you shall devise an evil plan.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. All of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. And so.
You gotta finish reading.
Okay.
That goes with that too.
Verse 12. To take plunder and to take treasure, to stretch out your hand against the waste places that are again inhabited, and against the people gathered from the Gentiles, acquiring livestock and goods, who dwell in the middle of the land. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's read 13, 14, 15. And we'll read 16 too.
Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say to you, are you ready to take bounty? Have you gathered your armies to plunder, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, and to take great bounty? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say to God, thus says the Master Yahuwah, in that day when my people of Yasharal dwell safely, shall you not know it? And you shall come from your place out of the north sides, you and many people with you, all of them, riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And you shall come up against my people of Yasharal as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring you against my land, that the nations may know me, when I shall be sacrificed in you, O God, before their eyes.
Set apart.
I'm sorry. Okay, sanctified in you, O God, before their eyes.
And you know, sanctified means to be set apart.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm going to be sanctified. In other words, you're going to set me apart, know who I am, regardless. All right, now I encourage everybody else to read from 17 all the way to 23 when you have the opportunity. I want to stop there because I want to finish reading this. I want to finish what is being said because I want us to understand this is very serious. In result or my answer from what I've been reading from a Christian perspective, even though we read something, we're thinking, okay, you know, it's information, it should be legitimate. All the information that we've had, unless we have been spoken to, one, by the Ruach HaKodesh, and been led to find other resources, we've all maintained and stuck with the resources that have been in front of us, because that's all we've known. So we've only followed that track. So following that track is going to only give us the same conclusion that the anti-Mashiach has to come from the European Union, which I'm here to show you this is not so. Are y'all following me? All right. Now, excuse me. And that's from Ezekiel, reading it in chapter 38. And then you can also read in Yoel chapter 3. Now, Antiochus in Daniel 8 is the forerunner of a prefigured of the anti-Mashiach, linking him to the Grecian Empire rather than the prince to come in Daniel 9 and 26. Daniel 9 and 26, 69 weeks is completely fulfilled with no connection in the passage or chapter to this prince to come, to the final remaining week, since it was preserved by Mashiach for the little horn referred to in Daniel 8 and 11. This is why it is important that we understand time, and we understand prophecy is based upon time. There are some prophecies that people still are reading, believing that it is to come when it is already understand, is that many times people struggle with how old the earth is. If we are unsure of how old the earth is, then we are really trying to decipher or trying to define prophecy maybe 2,000 to 3,000 or even 10 or 11 years. When we read all the things that have taken place, it's time now that we back up and begin to look at this thing from a different perspective and understand the world is older than what we have been alluded or allowed to believe. It's important that we understand that. So some prophecies are already fulfilled. In Daniel chapter 8 is the forerunner of a prefiguring of the anti-Mashiach, linking him to the Grecian Empire rather than the prince to come in Daniel 9 and 26. Now, if we look at Daniel 9 and 26, and we will. We have it, so this. All right, y'all walk with me now. Follow me. Daniel 9 and 26. We're going to read at verse 25. It is important that you have these scriptures too, so that you know I'm not just saying something. You have references, you have proof, you have evidence. All right. Verse 25. Know then and understand from the going forth of the command to restore and build Jerusalem until Mashiach, the prince, is 7 weeks and 62 weeks. It shall be built again and with streets and a trench, but in times of having nothing. And the people of a coming prince shall destroy the city and the set apart place. This is Titus 70 CE. And the end of it, which I'm going to show you, this is going to show us something different. The city set apart place. And the end of it is with the flood and waste and are decreed and fighting until the end. Now, it's important that we understand these things. Are y'all following me? This is the time, once again, what I mean by show you that when, according to Titus CE 70, it's important that we once again understand prophecy. All right. Now, and Daniel 9 and 26, 69 weeks is completely fulfilled with no connection in the passage or chapter to this prince to come to the final remaining weeks, since it was preserved by Mashiach for the little horn, referred to in Daniel 8 and 11. Also in Daniel 11 and Matthew chapter 24, they both agree that the temple is created, not destroyed. There's a difference. Remember when Antiochus took the blood of pigs and he took it and painted the temple? He didn't destroy it. He desecrated it. Destroyed it. He didn't destroy it. He desecrated it by painting it with blood. He also did it with young men. He took the blood of Ibram's soldiers and he painted. He let it run with blood. So it's important that we understand the difference between destroyed. So we're looking at references. We're looking at I just lost my thought. Help me out, Yahuwah. We're looking at help me out, Yahuwah. Proof as well as evidence. Thank you, Yahuwah. No, we're looking at proof. Proof that it was not destroyed, but desecrated because it was still standing. Okay? So the short-term fulfillment of the destruction of the temple in Daniel 9 references that are so important that we follow them, because once again, evidence and without proof, we have no case. When you have evidence plus proof, you have a case. Are you hearing me? Very important for us to keep that in mind. Now, the main current theory that has been making the rounds, and this is what I really want to get to, since at least the last 200 years, is that we will come, or that he, will come out of the European Union. Once again, who are we talking about? Say it again. The anti-Mashiach. Exactly. The anti-Mashiach. Why, once again, is this important? Because if you don't know what area the enemy is coming from, then you don't just gonna bounce around and jump up and down and get smashed because you don't know which way to watch out from. But if you say, hey, the train is coming, then you could tell a person to move out of the way, move to the left side or move forward. But if we don't know, then we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Are y'all follow me? Now, once again, the main current theory that has been making the rounds since at least the last 200 years is that he will come out of the European Union and will be part of the Roman Catholic Church. I was hearing this when I was in Christianity. This is why, even though we were Christians, we constantly refuted, rebutted, and fought against that we were Catholics. Because we said, now you got to understand, The Antichrist is what we called it in Christianity.
Right.
That's what we kept talking about, the Antichrist, which means the anointed one. Are you hearing me? That's in the Greek. So it's important that we understand, if we don't put things in perspective, then we can't stay focused. We can't. So understanding that's not the case. This person is not coming from the European Union. This region is not limited to just one part of Europe. Some think Italy, others point to Germany and France as like the anti-Mashiach is coming from. Are y'all following me? This is important. All of the EU, meaning the European Union, nations today in the European Union, number 27 in total. That's too many. That's too many. Too many. The CIS republics south of Russia were a part of the Roman Empire. So are we to say that the CIS nations will join Europe in order to fit this theory? The CIS nations are not a part of the European nations. Neither are Libya, Tunis, Morocco, Algeria, Mauritania. Is that how you say it? Mauritania, which were part of the Western Roman Empire. Turkey and much of the Middle East also were not part of this coalition of nations. Important to understand. Point 2, there were 10 toes. On January 1st, 1995, Austria, Finland, Sweden were added to the European Union, bringing the total to 15. And then in May 2004, another 10 Eastern European nations joined, making this interpretation unlikely. So for this interpretation to fit, a major shuffle must occur to eliminate 10 nations from the West and 5 from the East. What disqualifies them? They have too many toes. Because they have too many toes, they are disqualified from being the one where the anti-Mashiach will come from. Are y'all following me? Y'all sure you're understanding me?
Yes.
All right. I want to make sure we establish this, because our whole purpose is to establish where the anti-Mashiach is coming from and what we are to look for. See, back in the day, once again, we were in Christianity. They just told us the Antichrist was coming, but we never knew from which way. Why am I saying this? Because you got to understand, once again, when you're on a playing field, whether you're playing baseball, basketball, football, I don't care what it is, there are plays that are to be followed so that you will know what to do. If we don't know what to do, then we are sitting ducks. It doesn't mean that we can run from things that are already put in motion, but it says that we can prepare ourselves.
That's right.
Prepare ourselves for the things that are coming. And in this case, we have 15 toes in the western leg, and Tunisia, Morocco, Mauritania, and Algeria must be included since they were part of the Western Roman Empire. And I have a map, but I wish it's too small for you to see. In other words, these were a part of the Roman Empire, but they were not brought out. Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
Now, it's just like, what is it? Cinderella. Anybody knows Cinderella? And her stepsisters? And, when there was a so-called ball and she went to the ball because she, got there and she snuck there and the slipper was lost, right? I'm saying the right one, right? Cinderella. I'm gonna make sure I don't watch some things. So you get all your stories all twisted. But one thing about it, she went and she came back. And when the prince came looking for her, she was hidden. And her mother did not want her to be brought forth, but the ugly stepsisters. So there was no mention of her. But somehow he was able to find her because eventually she came to the forefront. These places were not mentioned, but now they're being mentioned. And these 5, like I say, if you could, we'll put it up there to see if we can put it up for you all to see. In that right there, it shows that they're in the Western Roman Empire. Can we see it? All right, let's see. Yeah, put it a little closer. You can take the book. Now, if you look there, you will see in that little cluster, those are the 5 places that we talked about. You hear me?
Nice.
Now we're going to take it over there and show over there. Let's show it over there. So you can see. I'm going to get a map, and I'm going to find a way to be able to have it so that when we go through some more, we got other maps we're going to look at. We got other dots. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
So that you can understand. All right. Now, these were the places. This is important too. This alone is an issue for all prophecy students to ponder. Even if 10 nations from the west and 5 from the east were removed, the prophecy still would not fit because the clay of the clay spoken of is red. And frankly speaking, it is in the Middle Eastern clay, not in European clay.
Yeah.
So European clay doesn't fit. So the geographics automatically causes it to be removed or disqualified because it does not fit the nature or fit the characteristic of the anti-Mashiach. Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
So important to understand. All right. Now, another thing. Turkey is currently having issues that need to be resolved. The seat of the throne of Shaitan in Revelations chapter 2, verses 12 and 13, where it talks about this. Pergamos in Turkey fit in this equation? That's a question. The fact is, it doesn't. Turkey must resolve many internal and external human rights issues spanning for hundreds of years in order to join. And even if they make the European Union entry, it does not matter because its strength in this case, it strengthens the case for Islam. It strengthens the case for the Islamic nation. How is Europe going to stop 72 million Muslims from entering Europe? While Europe cannot be the one from other passages in the writings, such as Daniel 11 and 30, which speaks of Greece and not Rome, in Daniel 11 and 30, the anti-Mashiach is attacked by Europe itself. Y'all hear me?
Right.
It's going to be attacked by Europe. So it's not coming out of there. We have had 10 more nations join in Eastern Europe. So that gives us 15 toes sticking out of one leg and then 10 in the other. The proponents of this theory so far have not come out to admit that they could not find a shoe that fits. It's important. They're not going to come back and recant, just like they're not going to come back and say that we are the true people. They won't do it. And everybody that has been of notoriety that has tried to do it has been threatened. And guess what they've done? They've recanted.
Right.
Everybody knows about what I'm about to say Rick. Nick Cannon has done. He came out, running fast and running strong and hard. Oh, foolish Galatians who have bewitched you. He was never a part of this in the beginning. He was foolish. He did it because he was trying to get on a bandwagon of notoriety.
That's right.
And when they fired him from the stuff that he created, that's when he started thinking, hey, if I don't make a change, my lifestyle is down the drain. But you got to understand something. When we came into this truth, there was a lot of stuff we had to let go.
That's right.
And if you're not willing to let go of those things of the past to move forward, then you are not fit for the kingdom. Anyone that puts their hand to the plow and look back is not fit for the kingdom of Abba Yahuwah. And he showed that. And many times we get so starstruck that, oh, they walking in truth because they put a little turban on their head and say something in Hebrew. Now they're Hebrews. Then if that's the case, then Ashkenazis over there talking Hebrew and doing stuff they do would be Hebrews. But we know that's a bald-faced lie. Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
But yet we will get so twisted and torn up because somebody recants on their confession, which was really false because all the stuff he did, everything he did from that point up to now got him so much notoriety. At one point, you didn't hear nothing about Nick Cannon. After him and Mariah Carey got divorced, all that stuff going on and all that. You don't hardly hear that much about Nick Cannon. Then he started coming up here. Oh, he walking the truth. Because he got one of them old women turbans on his head. He walked around with a turban on his head. Now he in the truth. Then he go on and then, thank you. It didn't get him the goals in it. All right. Oh, hold on. I guess that's on stick me. All right. Wait, now we're gonna make that happen. And so we go to a break. But anyway, when you're live, there's stuff subject to happen that you can't cut out. But anyway, as I was saying before, there are some things that happen, and you know when people are in it 100%, and when people are in it for notoriety, and when people are doing it only because they're trying to score points with us as a people, because we were quiet concerning him. But this is important for us to understand. Why is it important for us to understand? Because he just showed us Hollywood owns everybody invested in it.
Right.
And until they break free and come out of it and start doing their own thing, Hollywood got them bought.
That's
They
right.
bought and paid for it. And they will say one thing and come back. This man literally should have pulled that man pants down and kissed his butt. Seriously. He should have just literally in front of everybody pulled his pants down, showed his naked behind, and puckered up and kissed it. Because that's the extreme he went to apologize for telling the truth.
Right.
Because in his mind, I can't lose this. I made a mistake. Then the threat, you start talking about your life threatened. Boy, your life threatened because you black.
Right.
Every time you go out, it doesn't matter because you have money. Your life was threatened every time you left out. Some old wild cop that made up his mind say, today I'm going to kill me a nigga. I'm going to kill me somebody black. And you could have been the candidate. So your life ain't off the hook now just because you went and begged them for an apology.
Right.
Yo, that's the problem. That's where this up here is being messed with.
Right.
Because now he thinks, oh, I'm safe now. No, you're not. No, you're not, because you ain't in truth. And then you did the worst thing you could have done, was you acknowledged who we are, and then you turn around and let them bully you into telling us and the whole world, I'm sorry, that's not it. And we all need to get together. You let him eat your pig feet and your pig knuckles and all that stuff. I don't eat that mess. And definitely, I'm not going to crumble under or fold under.
God.
We know who we are, and we will never repent or say we're sorry for knowing who we are.
That's right.
Never. But y'all, you can't follow up behind these so-called actors that want to be an activist for us when it's comfortable. But then when the heat is turned up, now you can't do that now. No, I done lost too much and they talking about killing me. No way. And you done seen these brothers die. But now you feel like you say, get out of here and grow up. Are y'all following me?
Yeah.
This is important. Very important to understand these things. Are y'all hearing me? All right. Now, it's important we understand that you cannot do that. Very important. Why is it important that we understand where anti-Mashiach is coming? There is more, but I want to stop right here. And the next time, I'll be here when we come back, we're going to talk about, let's analyze the Bible as it should be. We're going to go through and we're going to pull it apart, the verses, and understand why have we been misled? Why have we been told one thing? Why? Because if you want to have a person killed, quit giving them the wrong information. Give them the wrong directions. You're supposed to be telling me how to get to safety, but you're constantly telling me, giving me the wrong directions. You're going to cost me my life.
Right.
But because the Abba ahabs us so much, he's not going to let that happen. He gives us now one thing about it. If you're not ready for change, then you're not going to be ready for it. But he's given us a understanding, and he's given us what we need to know. And the most important thing is understanding Yahush in your life. Because if not, then everything that's being said here and will be said is going to go over your head, and it's going to be of null. It's going to be null and void because you're not going to feel it being necessary. It's just like somebody saying, "Don't get in that boat; it has a hole in it." But because you don't see water, you don't believe it till you get out there so deep, so far out there. Now that thing starts coming up more. Now you so far out, there's no way for you to get back because there's no land to be found. Now you're going to drown. When you could have saved your life, but you chose to be disobedient and not listen. Y'all, there is an anti-Mashiach. And there are people that are following this, and they know, and they are set. It is us who are struggling with knowing where this person is coming from and who he's coming from and who he's a part of. Just like we believe in the Abba and we believe in the Mashiach, you have people that believe because these are the Muslims. These are the Muslims. So let me tell you something, for all of you that's loving on these Muslims and, oh, they my best friend, and, you know, we've learned to get along, you're in for a sad awakening. Because for all those that have walked and continue to misconstrue and misteach and misrepresent the writings, they're the first ones that's going to go. Because you better understand, there is nothing about Islam that is peaceful. Y'all can be fooled and tricked by Farrakhan. Yes, I said it. Because people just, ooh, Farrakhan, ooh, we just love us some Farrakhan. Why? Farrakhan admitted that we are the people, but you know why he won't change over? Because he don't want to die.
Right.
It's like blood in, blood out. Once you in, you can't get out. He don't want to die. He wants to lay down, go to sleep, and think that he going to paradise when he going to lay down and go to sleep, and he going to wake up in torment because he's lying.
God.
His actions. Now, he done just told us who we are, and he admits it, but he don't want to follow it.
Right.
And still wants to say that Muslim, we are people, we are a family of love and peace. Don't believe that mess.
God.
Don't believe that. Don't believe either. Like Kentucky Fried Chicken just put this thing out. They're gonna be the first ones make lab nuggets. They've already been making lab chickens for all y'all that like to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. You've been eating something that's been produced from a tube.
God.
Are you hearing me? We don't eat that stuff. You've already been selling them little tiny chickens. That's too. So what I am saying, y'all, for people that are believing these things are just coming up, this stuff has already been happening.
God.
I mean, no disrespect for him as an elder, but when it comes to his theories and it comes to truth, yo, we cannot sit up here, oh, he's speaking truth. No, he's not, because if he's speaking falsely concerning that, then he's speaking falsely about everything else. If you're going to tell me this is who we are, then you need to be the first one jump on the bandwagon and bring all them millions of peaceful Muslims over into the truth before they lose their lives for following after a lie. Because it'll be challenged. Either you're going to go by the book, the Quran, this is real. And I know people, no, Farrakhan, no, I love me some Farrakhan because he be speaking truth. Y'all, you better wake up. You cannot walk with the enemy and then at the same time say you are walking in truth and you know truth. It doesn't work. It does not work. But let us stay focused and let us be mindful. I encourage you to read chapter 13 and everything beyond chapter 13 of Revelations. Why? Because people ask us, what's next? Read chapter 13 of Revelation, and I promise you, you will understand what's coming next. Why everybody, ooh, these towers, yes, there is something going on with them towers. Ooh, yeah, people getting them shots, and once they get them shots, man, them shots with the stuff in it, and that's the mark. That's the mark. That's the mark of the beast, y'all. Just because somebody gets a chip in their arm, and I'm not telling you to take no chip, but that's not the mark of the beast. That's not the mark of the beast. So it's important that we interpret the scriptures accordingly. No, I don't care what job it is. I don't care what they tell you. Well, it'll make it easy hard. Because you're not putting a chip in me, period. But that's not the mark of the beast. Are y'all following me? Nowhere in scripture does it say anything about a chip. It said a number. Are y'all hearing me? A number. But I'm going to leave y'all with that. And I pray that you will read and you'll continue to pray and you'll continue to study. Y'all, because if we don't, once again, everything that we're working towards doing as a people to secure ourselves, if we're not careful, all of that is going to be in vain. Because if you're building and you're not building on a solid foundation, when the storm comes, you're going to be blown away. So let's be mindful and let's be watchful. And then my whole resolve is that if I can't find a file and say, hey, this needs more research, because if not, then what are you basing your belief on? If you can't use this, which is our manuscript, our way of life, I can't find it and base it off of this, then why am I accept it anyway? Are y'all following me? That's not wisdom. So it's important that we understand these things. Once again, I help you to life. We're praying with you. We're praying for you. I pray that the Yahweh will continue in your time of rest. Ooh, go check the baby. In your time, I am Aliyah Yashua, and I am the Mora of Messengers of Yahuwah's Kingdom of Bread Belief Congregation. I pray that everything that you've heard thus far will encourage you and keep you encouraged. I will say this: if you have any questions, any comments, don't leave no nasty comments. But if you have questions, please leave them. We'll get to them as soon as possible. Any prayer requests, if you have them, please leave them. We'll get to them as soon as possible. Once again, it is important that you stay. And if you don't have land, y'all heard me do the teaching on sustainability. I'm encouraging you now to get the land. Get it while it is available, because after a while, it's not going to be available. It's not going to be available. Once again, I am Mora Aliyah Yasharal, and I am here to pray with you and for you. I'm kind of distracted right now, but I love you. Remember, we love you here at Messengers of Yahuwah's Kingdom of Bread Belief Congregation. I want you to remember here at Messengers of Yahuwah's Kingdom of Bread Belief Congregation, this is where the Torah does the body excellent. Until next time, may Abba Yahuwah Baruch Atah and keep you in his shalom.